Mr. Pocket, a multiversal being with godlike powers, needed heroes and villains for his quest to save the multiverse. But first, these champions would need to go on their own journey. Aiding this, he combined the two universes into one. We know these as the Marvel and DC universes. This event would be known as Union Day, and here we have stories of heroes and villains living their lives after Union Day. Before Union Day and the new history made by the fusion of the two universes, we have heroes and villains known to all, and some we've never seen before. Now let us dive into Tiger Tales Marvel and DC Unionverse.
Mutants for Hire. Chapter 7. Brother has fallen. One-Up hung off the ceiling, thin pieces of wire made of vibranium sewn into his skin, keeping him afloat off the ground. He was only barely conscious. The man who managed to kidnap him walked up to him with a grin on his face. "It's only been 3 days, One-Up, and no one is coming to save you," the man said. Then he walked away and walked over to an oil drum. He dragged it over to One-Up. He tried to talk, but his mouth was dry and numb. It was like his voice got up and left without an explanation. He tried to scream, he tried to call out, but nothing. He tried to struggle, but the vibranium wires kept him in place. The man walked over and placed the oil drum underneath One-Up. He then, with some brute force, he shoved One-Up's hand into the oil. He then pressed a button on a device, and a surge of pure vibration shimmered through the vibranium wires that was sewed into One-Up, and somehow triggered his mutant ability. He absorbed the oil, his entire body becoming oil itself. It kept its shape. He somehow still kept his features, but he was now made of pure oil. The man then placed one hand inside of One-Up's face, and he managed to force One-Up's mouth open with the other hand and twirled a match between his fingers. "Don't worry, you'll be dead, yes, but you won't be alone for long. I'll kill the other 3 mutants for hire very soon. I'll kill them all just as painfully. And then I'm going after Mr. Pocket," the man snarled. He then struck the match head with his glove, and it lit. He then placed the lit match inside of One-Up's mouth, and the flame ignited. The oil and his entire body set ablaze. The man then kicked the oil drum over, and soon the flames caught that as well. Within a moment, the entire warehouse was ablaze. The strange man walked away as One-Up burnt to death. Sabretooth and Pyro walked around the abandoned warehouses that laid next to the pier.
I can smell him. One of those mutants for hire runts,"
Sabretooth grunted. He walked around taking big intakes of breath through his nose, taking all the different smells. He could smell One-Up. He could also smell fire, as if flesh itself had been burnt. Not the natural kind, but the chemical kind, like petrol or oil. He could smell it intensely. They walked through the array of warehouses. When they walked up to the remains of a warehouse, nothing but black ash, glass, and metal scraps laid on the floor. Sabretooth walked up to the center. There was bones laid there, only small amounts. Sabretooth could smell blood. It was fresh, all burnt to a crisp. Even worse, there was no major remains left. Sabretooth knelt down and ran his claws through the soot.
"I think I found him,"
Sabretooth growled. Sabretooth got word to the Mutants for Hire that he found the remains of One-Up. Pyro also sent word to Gambit and Rogue. Oculus, Benevolent Cardio, and Thunderstruck all stood there motionless, but yet filled with emotions. Mr. Pocket stood there, his words rung through the house, and he said those words, it was like he muttered a curse.
"How do we know this isn't Sabretooth just fucking with us?"
Thunderstruck grunted, and like Thunderstruck had called out for a higher being to strike him, Oculus's phone called, and he answered it. "Alfred, speak to me," Oculus said.
"I'm afraid your theory rings true, Master Oculus. We used Wayne's satellite, and we found video of a man kidnapping One-Up. And then, a few days later, walking out of the burning warehouse Sabretooth and Pyro found. I'm sorry, Master Oculus. I hate to be the bearer of bad news."
Alfred told him. Oculus did not respond, he just hung up. Then he pressed on a video that Alfred had sent him and showed his father and the boys. "That's the guy who got One-Up," Oculus muttered.
We have to get this guy and kill him!
Cardio responded.
Agreed. Let's go.
Thunderstruck nodded. Wait, all of you. We've just lost a brother. I have just lost one of my boys. We must mourn first. We will hold a funeral. And then, and only then, will you hunt this motherfucker down. Mr. Pocket hissed. The three boys agreed. They all knew Mr. Pocket was right. They kept their anger and determination for revenge set down in the pit of their stomachs, and they waited for their right moment to strike. The day of the funeral arrived. There was not that many people who turned up. There was important people, though. Mr. Pocket had gotten a casket, even though there wasn't much of a body for it. Gambit and Rogue brought Wildfire and hardware. Nightwing and Alfred also attended. There were some people that One-Up had saved or helped in some way, people he knew before the Mutant for Hire days. Even Sabretooth and Pyro turned up. Jessica, his girlfriend, stood there, tears running down her face. Mr. Pocket stood in front of everyone. One-Up was a courageous person. He was loved and he was an asset to my Mutant for Hire. He was strong, passionate, determined, and he will be missed. He helped us save the world from the Putty invasion, and he helped so many people before that. Due to his heroics, he will be buried here in the graveyard of the fallen, joining those heroes and those who fought to save us during Union Day. Mr. Pocket said, as he pointed at a picture of the graveyard that laid on the wall. Everyone took turns saying kind words. The three boys chuckled at the thought that Gambit and Nightwing saying nice things about him. What really made them smile is they knew for a fact that One-Up would have his skin crawling if he knew. He hated superheroes who wore suits. Eventually, everyone left and headed back home. Only a few remained, and Mr. Pocket hosted an after-party of sorts to celebrate One-Up's life. Luckily, their home was big enough to host that sort of party. Dick Grayson walked up to Ocklos, who was sat on one of the couches. That's a different type of suit, Ocklos muttered, looking at Dick Grayson's nice attire.
Yeah, felt wrong being Nightwing.
Dick sighed. He sat down next to Ocklos and he handed him a glass of champagne. Surprised Alex is no-show, Oculus said.
Actually, Alex has been missing for a week. It's been a nightmare.
Dick grunted. Wait, he's missing? Dude, why are you even here? Why didn't you say anything? Oculus snapped at him.
I got the back computer scanning for him. If it finds something, I will get an alert.
Dick said sadly. They both stayed silent for a while. A long while. Until Dick cleared his throat.
I may need to ask for your help. I may not. But I have a feeling I will.
Dick stated. Took you a while to ask, and yeah, no worries, man, I got you. I can't say about my boys, but I got you, don't worry. Oculus replied.
Thank you. Oh, and I've been there. Losing a member of my team, done it a lot, actually. This is gonna sound corny, but when I put on the mask and I'm out there fighting, keeping people safe, keeping Batman's vision alive, the people of Gotham safe, losing those people, it's what makes it matter. It makes their death mean something.
Dick stated. Oculus nodded at him. Dick gripped his shoulder tightly and then he stood and walked off, leaving Oculus to his thoughts. 1 week had passed since the funeral. All three boys had gotten up and gotten ready to sort out their revenge plan. They all looked over to One-Up's room. No one had been in there since he died. They all looked at each other. Then one by one they walked down the stairs and saw Mr. Pocket stood there. Hey Dad, what's up? Oculus asked. I believe it's time, Mr. Pocket muttered.
Are you sure, boss?
Cardio asked, concerned. I am, but you have 2 rules. First off, you will have backup. Whoever there is very smart and he knew how to kill One-Up. Of course, that means that he might know how to kill the rest of you. You make sure you have trusted allies. Maybe someone you haven't been seen with for a while. And 2, kill him. Make sure he's dead. Then double make sure this person is a threat we keep under the radar. We are not heroes and he knows this. He knows who we are and he is dangerous. So make sure when you end him, you end him. Mr. Pocket sneered. His voice was calm, but serious, with a slight hint of anger. His face was painted with rage, red-hot, boiling rage.
We understand, boss. We got this.
Thunderstruck nodded. Then all 3 boys loaded up their gear and headed out. They walked into the elevator and pressed the button for the ground floor. Okay, so we need to get back up. Who we got? Oculus asked.
I got a buddy I know. Owes me one. I'll rope him in.
Thunderstruck stated.
I will talk to Ember.
Cardio noted. Ember ended up being a massive help for the putty invasion, and Cardio thought maybe she would help out now. Okay, cool. I got a friend I can ask as well, Orklo said.
We ain't gonna ask Gambit. We seem to be friends with him now.
Thunderstruck asked. Nah, he's busy, and besides, he wouldn't agree with what we're about to do. This is Mutants for Hire stuff. Orklos replied. The elevator opened and the boys walked out. They agreed to meet at the Manhattan Bridge and headed their own separate ways to get the backup they needed. Malevolent Cardio walked into Ember's brand new apartment.
Hey, sorry. I used my key. You okay?
Cardio said as he walked in. He spotted Ember curled up on the couch, tears running down her face.
What's wrong?
Cardio asked as he rushed over to her.
Nothing. Just some stupid boys keep calling me names. Started throwing things at me.
Ember muttered.
Well, I kinda asked Dick for some help on something, and he gave me this.
Cardio replied, handing her a bracelet.
What's this for?
Ember asked, rather confused.
Just because me and the boys live our normal lives and our mutant lives as one doesn't mean you have to. And you don't like super suits. So this has holographic technology built into it, making you look human, separating Ember from Drago.
Cardio explained. Ember sat there in shock. She placed the bracelet on her wrist and pressed it, and then there was a shimmer of light under her skin. Then she watched as her scales disappeared. She rushed off to the couch and ran up to the mirror, and she saw her normal face, her human face. She was completely normal. She then turned back to Cardio with complete shock written all over her face.
Yes! Thank you! This is amazing!
Ember cheered as she dived onto Cardio and hugged him. Then she let go, reality slamming her like a car crash.
OMG, Cardio, I'm sorry, I forgot. One up, this is no time to be celebrating something.
Ember sighed.
Actually, that's why I'm here. We're gonna get this bastard who killed our brother. And we need help.
Cardio told her. Ember stood there determined. She looked at Cardio with a fierce glare of determination.
Let's kick some ass.
Ember said with a nod. Thunderstruck walked into a bar and sat down next to Gino Davis, a mutant with the ability to manipulate red lightning. He went by the alias Crimson Shock.
Well. What on earth are you doing here?
Crimson Shock asked.
You owe me, Davis. I need your help.
Thunderstruck stated.
Is this about your buddy dying?
Crimson Shock asked as he took a sip of his scotch.
It is. We're getting revenge. Revenge on a dangerous person. A dangerous person who can kill the unkillable. And we need help.
Thunderstruck explained. Crimson Shock placed down his glass and he leaned in closer to Thunderstruck.
There's a guy here in the bar. They want me dead, so you're gonna have to deal with them first.
Crimson Shock muttered. Thunderstruck looked over his shoulder and a man across the bar was staring at Thunderstruck and Crimson Shock. Thunderstruck looked at Crimson Shock and nodded. They both spun around on their stools and the man jumped to his feet quickly, pulling out a pistol, and he pulled the trigger. Thunderstruck held out his hand and caught the bullet, the kinetic energy absorbing into his palm as the bullet crumbled. Then Crimson Shock threw a bolt of red lightning and it surged through the air and hit the man in the chest as he was thrown back and crashed into the wall. He stood up and ran at the two mutants. Thunderstruck then swung his fist, hitting the man across the face, releasing the built-up energy that he just made. His fist connected with the guy's face. The man was thrown across the room and slammed into the wooden floor. Both the boys' fists bumped each other, and then they both walked out of the bar.
You left me behind, man. I thought we were ride or die.
Crimson Shock grunted. Thunderstruck took a deep sigh and exhaled slowly.
I know. And I suck, okay? It was a dick move, and I'm sorry.
Thunderstruck replied.
I want in to your merry little boy band.
Crimson Shock stated.
Well, maybe after we get the bastard who killed One Up, I'll set up a meeting with the boss.
Thunderstruck said with a sigh. Crimson Shock nodded with a small grin, then they both headed to the bridge. Oculus walked into the library and walked into the corner where Eisen Gorthy sat there reading a book. Really? When you said you were gonna hide away, you literally meant hiding away like a nerd? Oculus chuckled. Azengorthi went by the name of Sangius, and he sat there reading a book in the middle of the corner in the library.
Oh, what do you want, Onyx?
Zanguis replied without looking up from his book. I need your help with something, Oklo stated.
I haven't used my mutant powers in a long time. All thanks to this power dampener.
Sanguis told him, look, you have abilities I need. One-Up died, man. The guy who got him knew how to take him out. We need help to make sure this bastard doesn't hurt anyone else. Oklo sparked.
Really? Not interested.
Sanguis muttered. Oklo snatched the book from his hand, closed it and slammed it on the desk. He then picked up Sanguis by the collar and lifted him up off his feet. You're gonna help me, because without me you'd be dead, or worse, in a puddle of blood that wouldn't be yours and you know it. Oklos roared in his face. Sanguis pushed Oklos away and then straightened up his jumper.
Fine, I will help you, but after that, I will never see you again. Got it?
Sanguis growled. Oklos walked away and Sanguis followed reluctantly. Then they headed for the bridge. Oklos, Thunderstruck, and Benevolent Cardio stood with their new temporary recruits. Ember, who also went by the name of Drago, Crimson Shock, and Aizen, who went by the alias of Sanguis, which was Latin for blood, all stood on the bridge. Thank you three for joining us, Oklos said.
So, who's this freak?
Crimson Shock asked.
Well, that's what we're stuck on. The boss is checked. It wasn't the X-Men, it wasn't the Brotherhood, it wasn't even some mutant hate group.
Thunderstruck muttered.
There was no DNA left at the crime scene. Trust me, I checked.
Cardio sighed.
I could smell him out, maybe. I fly around, see if I can see.
Drago suggested.
Oh, please. He just said no DNA. You're not going to be able to smell him out. You're a lizard, not a dog.
Sanguis snapped. Oi, enough of that. We need to work as a team here. Temporary or not, mutants for hire protect each other and look out for each other. And if your egos want to get in the way of that, I'll put you down myself. Oklos barked. What a brilliant speech, a voice called out behind them. They all looked up and saw a man standing on one of the top beams of the bridge. He was wearing a white mask that hid his face, he wore a black trench coat that tickled his ankles, and his top was black and he wore dark jeans. He jumped off the beam and landed in front of the mutants for hire. Not gonna help though. I'll just kill the rest of you in due time, the man muttered.
It was you! You killed him!
Thunderstruck growled. I did, and he was so pathetic and sad. It was almost funny. The man with the mask replied.
We will stop you!
Cardio barked. Everyone prepare yourselves, Oklos ordered. They all stood in a line. Cardio pulled out his sickle and gripped it tightly. Oklos's eyes glowed red. Sanguis took off his power dampening ring and placed it in his pocket. Then he drew his army knife. Drago pressed her bracelet and holographic technology deactivated, allowing everyone to see her true dragon-like features. Her wings expanded and her tail swished back and forth. Crimson Shock's hands sparked with red lightning. Bring it on then, the man with the mask muttered. The man ran out the mutants for hire. Thunderstruck ran out one of the beams on the bridge. He then decided to bounce off of it and hit another beam. He kept ricocheting off the beams of the bridge, building up the kinetic energy as he did. Cardio threw his sickle out. The man caught it and pulled Cardio in closer. Cardio sped his heart rate, which made his nerve endings go numb, just in time, muting his pain receptors, as the man elbowed him in the face, blood exploding from his lip, but he felt absolutely nothing. The man then punched Cardio in the stomach and turned around to face Crimson Shock, who threw a bolt after bolt after bolt of red lightning. Each bolt hit the man. As he staggered back, he then struck by more bolts. Drago jumped up, spun around, and smacked the guy with her tail. Sanguis ran in with his knife, and the man caught his composure and caught his wrist. He then drove Sanguis's knife into his own shoulder. Sanguis stumbled back and pulled his own knife out of his own shoulder, and then he grinned at the man with the mask. He wiped the blood off the blade and onto his palm. He then sheathed his own knife, and the blood dripped off his palm and solidified, becoming as hard as crystal. He ran at the man and stabbed him in the leg, then again in the ribs. Drago landed behind him and breathed a blast of fire, the flame scorching the back of the masked man, burning his coat ever so slightly and the skin underneath. Thunderstruck then bounced off another beam and flew directly at the man with the mask. He channeled all of his kinetic energy into his fist and smacked the man in the chest, releasing all the energy all at once. The brute force of the energy threw the man with the mask across the bridge, and he skimmed across the road like a pebble across a lake. He then caught by Ocklos, his red eyes now burning. He slammed the guy into the ground, the road cracking beneath him. He then threw the man across the bridge and landed on the ground, the mutants for hire quickly surrounding him. "You guys have had your fun now, I think," the man with the mask muttered. He stood up and suddenly he shimmered, like he was vibrating. He then started to multiply. Where originally only one man in the mask stood, 2 more had joined him. There were now 3 men stood in front of the mutant for hire. One had vibrating eyes that were glowing, the other had black tendrils that slithered out of his back and shoulders, the third started to float. Judging by my calculations, that's the Speed Force, Ocklos muttered, his eyes shifting from red to blue. He started running as fast as he could. The vibrating clone ran as well. It moved faster than Ocklos. They both collided and Ocklos was thrown off his feet and was thrown off the bridge. Thunderstruck ran at the vibrating clone and threw a fist. His punch phased right through him. The vibrating clone ran around Thunderstruck as fast as he could, and Thunderstruck stood there struggling to breathe, the oxygen being pulled out of the wind funnel. He lost consciousness and dropped to the floor. Drago flew at the flying clone. The clone shot lasers from his eyes, striking the dragon-like mutant. She fumbled around in the air. Cardio threw his sickle at the flying clone and grabbed the sickle and pulled Cardio into the air with him. He grabbed Cardio by the shoulder and he gripped it hard, breaking the bone, shattering it. His arm went floppy as he was dropped and landed on the ground. He then breathed a long, strong, icy breath, freezing Drago in a block of ice, which fell on top of Cardio. Sanguis ran at the clone with the tendrils, his blood blade aiming from the clone's chest, and a black slimy tendril from his back slithered out and wrapped itself around Sanguis, pulling him up into the air and slammed Sanguis onto the ground, then onto a car, then back onto the ground. Crimson Shock held out both hands and both palms erupted with red lightning. Both surges hit the clone. It stood there being fried, but it was not phased. Then it quickly spun around and 2 more tendrils grabbed Crimson Shock and pulled him in close. The clone punched Crimson Shock several times before throwing him into Sanguis, and both of them collided onto the ground. The 3 clones all vibrated into one man once again. "Your luck is out, mutants for hire. I've already killed one of you. You're not gonna get another chance to dance with me, I'm afraid. The next time you see me, I will kill another one. And I will do this over and over until not one of you mutants for hire boys are alive. I wonder which one I will kill next," the man with the mask barked. Then he vanished, leaving the mutants for hire to recover from their fight. Mr. Pocket walked onto the docks. He closed his eyes and took a deep breath of the salty sea air. Then suddenly his eyes snapped open. He turned around. The man with the mask walked up to him. "Those boys of yours have had some entertaining experiences, and now they formed a merry band of wannabe X-Men?" the man with the mask stated. "I know, by my orders," Mr. Pocket told him. "I thought you wanted me to kill them," the man with the mask snapped. "You won't kill them, they'll beat you. You're just a pawn in my plan, and you know this. I needed one of them to die so they can be stronger, so my son can be stronger. They need to know pain, and you're just a messenger. And that's about it. You will lose," Mr. Pocket roared. "But you promised!" the man with the mask hissed. "I know, and I will hold my end of the bargain. I promise you, you will have your beloved soon, Mr. Parker." Mr. Pocket sneered. The man removed his mask, revealing his face. He then looked at Mr. Pocket. Tears filled his eyes as he was holding back for when he was able to see Gwen Stacy once again.
What you have just listened to is a product created by the Three Ranger Bros Studio.
Hosted by 3 cosplaying fathers who
happen to be massive geeks of all sorts of fandoms.
They are Mark, the Red Cornish Ranger,
Cosplay Dude 637,
and Tai Tiger.
The studio covers different types of YouTube videos, TikToks, podcasts, and live streams.
If you wish to find out who cosplays who, the YouTube channel, the TikTok accounts, and the podcasts, and all of the other social media platforms,
please go to the 3rangerbrostudios.com.